Today, what we're going to look at is how to use your gi jacket or a jacket. You notice I have a t-shirt on. I wore it on purpose. A t-shirt as well. How to use these pieces of clothing to leverage control on the ground if you have to control someone on the ground. It's one thing to get on the ground, it's another thing to be able to control someone. And if you are able to use your gi or your jacket or your t-shirt, you can actually choke someone out pretty easily. I want to show how to use it, and I want to show you not just with the gi, but I also brought a jacket, and I also am wearing a t-shirt on purpose. It's not traditional in Kyokushin to wear a t-shirt under your gi, but today I did for that specific reason. Remember, as Professor Lloyd Irving from the USA, he says when you hit the ground, you're either top, bottom, parallel, perpendicular, one of the 8 positions. Your objective is to get your grips, stabilize your position, look for the submission. So when you do get top control on someone, you've got to be stable. Sometimes it's to your detriment to hang on too tight because they can roll you over and things will go on like that. So sometimes it doesn't hurt just to keep your top position. The benefit we have as karate fighters is we can elbow here, like that. All those sort of things we have to take into account. Okay, but right now what I want to do is use the gi for control. First technique is simply using his gi for control. So I just pull it out here. Remember, everything we do, you can do with a jacket or a t-shirt. We'll show that later on. So I'm just going to pull this jacket, pull it right over here, and now what I have is a very strong position. If he tries to turn in towards me, because I'm holding with that gi. If he tries to punch me with that arm, he can't because literally everything is tied up. Okay, he punches me, and it's just so easy just to keep this control in here. Okay, I'm lying on his head, I can bounce his head down. Wrist locks as well. Okay, that's the first position, is I actually have the gi here to get control, and you can actually leverage that into some nice arm bars, which we've been working on all week. The second technique I want to show you is how to use my gi as an offensive tool. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to lie this way, and I put my pressure on his head. Okay, I have to be careful that I don't get swept, so I always have a good tripod base. There, see, I have my leg out here. So if he does try to base like that, I'm going to come and just control. Then he can't see, so I'm going to pull my gi out. See, like that? And then I can go back to the control. Okay? Then what I do is I simply take the end of my gi. See that? And I pass it under. If he's got his frame here, which he may have, I'm going to pass it through here. If he doesn't have a frame, I'm simply going to pass it to this hand. See that? Boom. So I have my arm under his head, cross-facing, take my gi out, I'm going to pass it to my own hand. See that? Now what I'm going to do is trap his leg so that when I come around, I take my head to his hip. All I do is I hold my gi, put my hand next to his hip so that when I turn around, he doesn't follow me. And then all I do is I sprawl and I take my head from his hip, and the choke goes on immediately. The next one I want to look at is a similar thing. Once again, I'm here, I'm controlling, I turn away with the legs, and I can even hold the leg. If he hasn't got pants on, I can hook the leg. This gives me really good control. It also gives me opportunity here. I like to go here, and that way if he wants to punch me, I can capture that arm. Okay, if that happened, then I start to change and attack this arm. Okay, from there, you take this out, and once again, feed it to here. Okay, pull it under, watch now. I just take my forearm across my gi. I switch hips, take my forearm across my gi. I have this, it's like an extra handle, strong control with just one hand. And then this hand pushes down. The third one is once again, I pass my own gi to my hand. I don't have to get tight, you don't feel like you need to get high. It's just down here, it's fine. Then what I do is I insert my own hand in here. And look at that. And then I just straighten both arms. I just go like that. That may be because maybe I want to go down to do the first choke, but he might be stopping me or something like that. Yeah, so I might not be able to get down. So in that case, I'm going to bring my hand up here and switch my hips. Get unbuttoned. Okay, so there the chokes we'll focus on.
The other thing that Sean's probably not mentioned, and it's difficult to get through the video, is the shoulder pressure that he's using on my jaw, the cross-face pressure. At the end, then he was taking it off a little bit just to demonstrate. But in the first technique and throughout it, the shoulder pressure, the cross-face pressure on your face is extremely debilitating.
Because I want to show you, t-shirts are really funky things. They don't tear very easily. They don't tear if you get a good handle. Okay, so here we are. I'm in the same situation. Some crazy guy is giving me grief, and all I have on is a t-shirt. Look, I'm just going to grab my t-shirt and pull it up high and grab a handful of the t-shirt. And look, the same thing. Boom, come around, and the choke actually cuts through the neck even more. See that? Yeah. I can also bring the hand here with the get unbuttoned choke, and that's just off a t-shirt. And lastly, now I have the jacket on. I'm in here like this. Once again, like Mitch says, see that? Shout out to the boys from Murray's in Norway. So I'm going to do the same technique except with the jacket. Okay, so here we are. I'm putting that shoulder pressure on the jaw. I'm going to take it off and Mitch to say, I can hold the leg, and this is actually quite debilitating. You might try and punch me in the head, so I keep that under control, and if that happens, you can wrist off it back. Now normally you do that with your arm over here like this. Okay? And that takes control of the arm. But I want to keep my arm under for the sake of the choke. So I take this I take this jacket, and I bring it around here, boom. And then I immediately close my hand, swing around, take my elbow, put it there, same thing again, take my arm, put it there. Push. That was just a nice little look at how you can use your gi to choke. But also, you may not have a gi on, you may just have a t-shirt on. You might have a nice heavy jacket. It doesn't matter what you have on, the principle remains the same. Get your grips and stabilize a position. So that's the most important thing. And as Mitch mentioned, I'm using that nice heavy shoulder pressure across his jaw. If you control the head, karate principle from Chojun Miyagi in one of his 9 supporting principles of the Kaisei no Genri. If you control the head, you control the entire body. Okay? So we control the head and then simply pass the gi, and it's just like a noose around the neck. It's just literally like a rope. If it's not the gi, it's a t-shirt. T-shirts rarely tear. They don't rip like shirts. They don't have seams like shirts. Or if you have a heavy jacket. Yep.
If people are new to this and they want to practice this type of thing, how would you suggest going about it? Starting in the control position and getting a feel for that, or going straight to the choke? Or how would you recommend that they start implementing it in training?
Okay, if you're new to grappling and want to start to develop your skills, the best thing to do is find, first of all, the position. So in this case, That's a top side position or a side control position. You work on getting control in that position. So have your partner just give 5% resistance, then 10%, and then 20, and then 50. And as they increase, you'll start to feel the possibilities that they have. Over time, you improve your response to those possibilities and you make small adjustments. Remember, we always talk about the crosshairs and the micro adjustments. Well, the same thing happens on the ground. You're using these micro adjustments to maintain top control. Always be ready to post your hand if he tries to swing you over. Always be ready to control the arms if he tries to punch you. Remember, you don't want to get your ear close to their mouth. They'll bite it straight off in a street fight. I want to get my shoulder in the mouth. And if they try to bite your shoulder, you're going to use the shoulder with small percussive blows. Okay, so in that respect, get used to the position itself. It's a really good skill. Literally just build up a little bit at a time. Best way you can do it is, of course, join a BJJ school or a wrestling school, particularly catch wrestling. Not so much Olympic wrestling, that's brilliant, of course. But for this type of thing with submissions, you want to get into catch wrestling because they include the submissions as well, whereas freestyle wrestling doesn't have submissions other than the pin. So you get control, you get used to that control, and then at some stage you just grab the gi and pass it to your own hand. Another good trick you can do is when you pass the gi, particularly a thin Kyokushin gi or a t-shirt, you roll it and you turn it into a rope before you hang on. With a t-shirt, you roll it like that, and that gives you a bit of a handle. See that? Gives you a handle. Plus, if you've got a sexy little midline, you can tie that there and go to the beach. Yeah?
You can.
No, my six-pack won't allow me to do that anymore. But remember, to get that grip, you want to make sure that you create a handle, because if you just grab the t-shirt like that, it will slip off. So you need to roll it around and lock it in like that. That was nice and short. I hope you got something out of it. Don't forget, pass the word around. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, well, then just do a right click at the URL address, the link, and put it in your socials and pass the word and tell everyone how much you're enjoying the videos. We're certainly enjoying doing it. To my Patreon family, the only reason we've been able to keep this up for years now is because of the support from the Patreon, the microphones, these little microphones, and even the video editing and so on. Thank you to Patreon. I really appreciate your support. The best thing that you can do to help us grow our channel to 10 million. Only 9,997,000 to go.
We're on the home straight.
Yeah, we're on the home stretch. We've got about 3,000, so that's really good. But anyway, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next week. And if you've got any comments, make sure you leave them below. If you are a doubter, leave the comment below. I'm always happy to answer questions from people who doubt the efficiency of these particular techniques. And pass the word. Us, thanks, Mitch.
Thanks, Sham.
Good to see you. See you next week. Us.